Well, Jack thinks it'd be well for me to tell a few of my stories which encountered growing up, and all of them are definitely true, and they all happened to me. First off, when I was about 9 years old, I there was a rock quarry that was abandoned on White Rock Hill where I was raised, right behind my dad's house. And in playing, my friend and myself decided we want to make a road down the hill beside the rock quarry. And the rock quarry was not being operated at the time. So I decided we wanted to build a road down there that would go into the old slaughter pen road down the bottom. So we did. We built the road. Took us several days to do it and all of that. And then when we decided we wanted to try the road out, I got in my red wagon and I was going to be the first to go down it. I went down the hill, and believe me, it was a hill. It was real steep and about 2 blocks long. And I got out of there. I got the wagon out, and I got on that little road we built, and I started down beside the rock quarry. As I went down the road, if you're familiar with wagons, the wagon, the left wheel hit a rock on the little road and knocked the handle, the steering handle, out of my hand. It turned to the rock quarry, and I went over the rock quarry in the wagon. It was 62 feet that my neighbor measured from where I went over until I landed. It was straight fall down, and it wasn't anything to break my fall at all except rock. And I fell. He measured it with a tape line, he and a neighbor, and I fell 62 feet straight down, and then it cut me up pretty badly, and I got up and walked back up the road of the slaughter pen and came back up the little road we built, and I was unconscious. I don't remember nothing about it. And I walked home, and a neighbor took me to the doctor's office, and they sewed me up. And that was on Friday afternoon, right after school, and I woke up late Sunday night. I regained consciousness then, and so consequently I got along good and made it fine and never had no repercussions from it, but it was a pretty bad fall. And so I'm here to witness the fact that I did make it.
What now?
About Jack Kidd. This is a story about a neighbor of mine that was, he was a little bit older than I was, but maybe a couple years, but he and I was always good friends, and we played together and all that.
How old were you about this time?
At that time, I must have been about 13 years old, I would say. Incidentally, when I went over that cliff, I was 9 years old. And anyhow, Jack was dating a girl that lived back up above us, up at around where Morton Manufacturer used to be. And the railroad had a shifter that went up there and picked up cars and brought them back down to the yard. And it was a pretty good incline going up around through there, and coming back engine didn't have to work at all. It was just coasting more or less, and it didn't make much noise. So Jack was dating a girl up there around Morton Manufacturers, and he was coming back from his date, and he was walking the railroad. Well, they had two trestles to cross, and one of them wasn't very high, but it was fairly long. He had walked that one, and he realized about middle of the way across the second trestle, which was high off the ground, that the train was coming. He saw the light. It was around about 10 o'clock at night. So Jack started running in the center of a trestle and on the cross sides, and he realized that the engine was gaining on him, picking up. So he didn't know how far he had gone across the trestle, but he knew he had to get off of that sucker because of that train was coming and too close to him. So he fell off on the side and was holding on to the cross side. He said it was more cars that night on that train that he had ever seen before. Anyhow, they kept going by and kept going by, and he couldn't hold on no longer. So finally he just thought, well, this must be the end. So he closed his eyes and turned her loose. And when he did, he said he nearly broke his left ankle because he only fell about 6 inches. He was practically across the trestle and didn't know it. And so he was spared that big fall, which in middle way of that trestle would have been about 60 foot. That's the end of that.
Oh, that's a good one.